Hello, my geniuses. How are you doing? My geniuses, with me today, I have a bubbly, brilliant, talented, smart, and wonderful lady. You're going to be excited to learn about her. She is Jamaica's gem, and she is authentic. Better than her, you will never find. My geniuses, please help me to welcome Miss Georgia Claire. Hello, Miss Claire. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me on your show, Kadian.
It is my pleasure having you. Now, Miss Claire, why do you believe in the power of education?
Well, for me, education is the vehicle, as we would have always heard, to assist anybody out of poverty or to help you to align your life with your goals. And if you focus on education in a practical way, in a powerful way, then I am sure that you as an individual will attain your goals and your objectives.
All right. I like that. Did you hear that, my geniuses? You better listen because guess what? You're going to learn a lot more about Miss Claire. Now, Miss Claire, your father or your mother, who had the more substantial role in your academic upbringing?
So my life's journey began, I think, with two powerful women, two powerful motivators. I would refer to them as one, my grandmother. She was the main person since I grew up in her household. My mother lived elsewhere. She was also very active. And in those days, older daughter would go out to work, ensure that the family is being taken care of, while some grandmas raise the children. So that was my basic family life. As
I
it relates to education, my grandmother was a very strict lady. She ensured that house chores were done. So there had to be a balance between house chores and academia. So whatever work we got to do at school, we had to show it to her. And if our work even looks messy, we had to go and do it over. Because this for her was your presentation had to be good. So I believe that that played a great impact in my development as a person, as somebody who regards education as a powerful tool.
beautifully said. Well done, Miss Claire. And I like your grandmother. She sounds like my grandmother, strict yet loving. And because of her, just look at you now, right? What were
Amen.
your early
Yes,
ambitions?
I did not see myself being a principal at any point in time until maybe 2015, 2014, thereabouts. My dream was basically be a good teacher, be that teacher who tries to take her students from one point to another, who get the successes, hear the success stories, having the children moving from reading at the very basic level to a very good level. That was my aim. But then there came another avenue in which where from which I could stand and I could use this avenue to impact more. So hence the idea of principalship came to being.
Okay, all right. Now, which basic school did you attend? Miss Claire, is it okay for me to call you Georgia?
Sure.
All right, Georgia. Which basic school did you attend?
Well, I grew up in Clarendon, a community called Buckner. So there was a local basic school, Buckner Basic School, still in existence. That is the school I attended.
Do you have any memories of attending basic school? Is there anything you remember?
Very few, but I can remember. I remember the teachers. They used to use their fingers, and
Yes.
they would dip their fingers in water, and they would make the letters in the air, the letters of the alphabet
Wow.
in the air. So I believe that that created an impression for a child. There were many charts in the classroom, pictures with the names of the objects beside them. For example, it's as if I'm looking at a picture of a comb, and the word comb written beside it, right in that basic school classroom.
Who were some influential teachers in your life at primary school, and which primary school did you attend?
Okay, I attended Mapen Primary School. I vividly remember Mrs. Mico. She was my grade 5 teacher. And that lady was a stickler for details. I can remember writing, we were writing compositions a lot. We wrote a lot of compositions in her class. And I remember her giving us one to write about how to prepare rice and peas. I I did that with ease because this was a chore that I had to do at home. I had to cook. I could cook at 11 years old and
Wow.
cook very well as
Yeah.
yes. My grandmother ensured that that was the case. So Mrs. Mico in grade 5 and grade 6, there was Mrs. Henry. She, in that grade 6 class, I remember there were 62 students in the class. We sat on the brown benches, the dual combination benches,
Yeah.
and 3 of us normally sit in those benches. She had an assistant teacher though, but just imagine today's Jamaica, a class with 62 students managed by one teacher. That would almost be an impossible task. But I believe that Mrs. Henry, she dealt with that class as if there was probably only one child in front of her. We
Yes.
were disciplined. We were a motivated set of students. We had to get the task done and get it done on time. We listened. We asked questions. We were not disruptive children. So I believe that the the classmates, the teachers' standard at the time, because those expectations were very, very high. I believe that that would have been very, very influential to my development at the primary school. And
Wow.
Maple Primary, by the way, is
The
one of the
large,
largest
yeah,
primary schools in
in
the
the
Caribbean,
Caribbean.
and
Yes.
still is. So it was great going to Maple Primary. I remember walking to school, sometimes walking from school. Sometimes we take the taxi, but it was fun to walk.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Wow.
those teachers, I believe those teachers are the 2 teachers I can remember distinctly, but I'm sure that other teachers would have impacted me greatly. Just that after so many years, I can't recall their names. Maybe their faces, but not their names.
And that's fine. That is
Yeah,
fine. 62 children in one
yeah.
class. Yet she
Yes,
learned.
that has
And
always
she
been the
remembers
goodness.
the teacher because that teacher was very influential. My genius
Yes.
is, can you imagine that? So if you are in a class with 35 kids, 25 kids, there should be absolutely no reason why you should not get the best education possibly. Now, Georgia, were you
Yeah.
popular in high school, and which high school did you attend?
No, I was not a popular child. I was a more reserved, quiet student. I attended the Glenmuir High School in
Wow.
Clarendon on Glenmuir Road. Yes. I was mainly friendly with my classmates. I didn't know most of the school populace, but I believe that I had a very good relationship with my classmates. We I was placed at first form in a particular class, and most of the students in that class we went up as classmates straight to fifth form. And that class was the second stream in the school, so we had a very close bond at Glenmuir High School. And that marvelous institution has also played a remarkable role in the woman that I am today.
I can bet, guys, Glenmuir High School is one of the best high schools in Jamaica. Talk about academics, they've conquered that. Talk about sports, they've conquered that. Netball, they are the holder of several championships. No,
Yes, and might I add
yeah,
that I The same year that Elaine Davis, and Elaine Davis played for Jamaica's netball team. The same year
Definitely.
she was at Glenmuir, I was there as well. I played a little netball too, but yeah, it
Okay.
was good. So Elaine Davis being one of Jamaica's famous netballers is also a product of Glenmuir High School. And she was a year or two ahead of me in high school.
Georgia, I heard that you have a 26-year-old child. No, you yourself look as if you're 26. How can you have such an old child, yet
I'm telling
so
you.
successful, and yet look so young? Talk to me. The math
Oh
is
boy.
working out in my head.
Well, that journey was a journey, I can tell you. There were disappointments along the way,
Yes,
but there were also joyous moments.
yes.
I was in fifth form at, of course, the prestigious Glenmuir High School. I can say that I was the pride and joy of my family, having been the first child, I think, to attend what we normally refer to as traditional high school,
Uh-huh.
and one of one of few persons in the community who was placed at that school via common entrance. So in fifth form, I became pregnant at the age of 16. That, as I said, it was a rough ride. It was an embarrassing moment because persons were expecting you to come out and be the best. Persons were expecting much of you, but yet here you are at 16 years old, about to become a mother. But on my journey, I had caring teachers at Glenmuir High School. When they found out, nobody condemned me. I remember the guidance counselor at the time, she brought me home in her car to Bucknell, yes. And it's as if, it was God sent at the time. She was God sent to my home because I remember when she went there, Jamaica Public Service was there to disconnect the electricity. And she took out her checkbook and she wrote the check and gave it to them because they would not accept cash.
Beautiful.
And then my grandmother gave her the cash for the check.
Yeah.
So she was God sent. So I'm telling you, along that journey for me, there there were great moments, but there were embarrassments. So having brought me home, it did not end there. They would have told my grandmother about the women's center and that teenage girls can become students here, they can have their babies, they can continue to go to classes there, and they can also sit their CXC examinations. So I went there, I think about May. No, I had my baby in May. What am I saying? I don't remember, but I know I went there when I was probably about 3 or 4 months pregnant. And I stayed there. I went to classes. I had some hiccups along the way because some of my SBAs were not transferred to the Women's Center. So when I did the exam, I had some incomplete. I actually left high school, I must say, with only one subject, and that was English language,
Yeah.
English literature. I left with only one subject. So I had my baby, my son, who is now 26 years old. And then at 6 months old, when he was 6 months old, my mother came and he said, I can't allow you to stay in the community any longer because you are here. Your child's father is here. Neither of you are working.
Yeah.
Neither of you is working. So I just can't stay because I don't want you to have another child at any time soon.
Yeah.
So she went on job hunting for me and she brought me to Kingston with her. I did 2 interviews and I got a job at a pharmacy. That that pharmacy is on Spanish Town Road, Robinson's Drugstore. I was employed at the age of 18. I turned 18 September and November, I was a working mother. So I brought my son came with me and my mother. So I worked, I would pay daycare for him, and I would take care of the responsibilities with whatever support I would receive from his father. So I worked there for 6 years straight. I went there to be the receptionist because I was told by the manager, Mr. Robinson, that I have a good face. So normally they would ask me to write recommendations for persons because his father was a JP. So I would write those recommendations, I would do the filing. And I remember one particular morning, the pharmacy was very, very busy. And I went outside and I started dealing with customers, asking them, how may I help? What it is that they may want. And I would get the goods, I'd bring it to them. And that's that kind of a flexibility, I believe, would have allowed Mr. Robinson and his team to see something different in me, to see somebody who can excel beyond just being in the pharmacy. So from that, from just moving from, I would say, a store clerk, from secretary, from file attendant, I also learned how to read the prescription. I learned the medication. And when the pharmacist was there, I was able to assist. So basically, I became a pharmacy technician just being at Robinson's drugstore.
Yes.
And I believe that I would have learned certain characteristics would have been developed in me then. One, responsibility, being careful, being caring about other people, and even tolerance. I believe that I would have learned tolerance at this level because sometimes persons come and they want to just come and get through and go.
Yes.
So yes, and they would become very boisterous at times, but you know that you have to exercise patience. So I believe that my level of tolerance was developed right there at that drugstore. All right, so and my journey, I don't know if you want me to talk about my journey now into Teachers College.
All right, we'll get right there. My geniuses, what a story. Can you believe it? Georgia got pregnant at 16, but she didn't give up. Her life was rough. You heard about it. The day she was brought home from school because she was pregnant, her grandmother's electricity was just about to be disconnected. But you also learned how powerful and valuable teachers can be because there, that
Yeah.
teacher came to the aid. But look at Georgia today. She didn't give up. She could have had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids because she wants to succeed or wants something out of life. But she didn't look to men for it. She went to education. And as a result, she is with us today because Georgia believes in the power of
Of
education.
education.
What is your
Yeah.
greatest joy, Georgia?
Well, today I would say my greatest joy is being around people who I believe are caring to, are responsible, are accepting of people's downfall and shortcomings. And when you can accept somebody who has displayed some level of shortfall, to me, and you can help that person, you can motivate that person and show the person that despite your situation, there is always something great that you can achieve. That to me is fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely so. Money or education, which is more important to you?
Definitely education, because with education, I believe the money will come.
I like
And
that.
yes, and I would have seen it somewhat, but just that I need a little bit more money. But I know with doing more things, doing more educational stuff, doing maybe I can go somewhere else to work. But with education, you're you are certainly going to be achieving more money. So I would pick education over money first,
I like
because what
that.
is what is embedded in you, what is implanted in your brain then. that cannot be removed. I don't think that that can be substituted for money.
Yes, beautifully said. I know some people would say, quickly give me the money, but like
But
you,
it is,
I believe education. Georgia, tell me how you ended up being in Teachers College from leaving high school with one subject. How did you acquire the qualification to get you into college, and which college did you attend?
right. So I remember one day we were at work, that's at Robinson's drugstore, and we were sitting, the place was not very busy. So we were sitting on the outside, we were conversing. The pharmacist at the time, Mrs. Donna Thomas, she was there and she was asking us about career path. What is it that you guys have always wanted to do? And I said, I think teaching is my passion. I think that is where education is where I want to be. And she said, so what you sit down in here and do? So she said, yes. So at that, I was already taking evening classes. I was doing one subject, another subject. So maybe I did two 1 year, and another year I did one. So she said, but why are you still here? So I believe that that statement propelled me to, to really get into action and send out applications.
Yeah.
1999, I sent out two applications, one to Bethlehem Teachers College, the other to Mico Teachers College. I did an interview at Bethlehem. I was not accepted. I did not get called to do an interview at Mico.
Yeah.
At that time, by then I had only three CXCs in hand and one pending.
Yes.
I was not accepted at any of these colleges. So I waited until the results came for the other subject. And the following year, I decided that I was only going to apply to Mico.
Yeah.
And I applied only to Mico Teachers College. I was called for my interview. I did my entrance test. And 3 years after, I graduated Mico.
I
Yes,
like that.
so
I like that she doesn't give up. Did you hear that, my geniuses? At first, they didn't even call her. But guess what? She decided, and this is when I like when you're being vindictive. She decided that she wasn't going to apply anywhere else
no,
except
one place.
there when she acquired the qualifications. And just like that, she went there. Continue, Miss Claire.
Yes, and may I say too that going to teachers college
Yes.
in terms of finding the tuition, it wasn't an easy thing. But I can tell you, my grandmother was an active politician. She was big in politics, and
Yeah? Tell me more. I like it. I want to hear everything. She
as
basically
such, right,
lied to my
I,
party. Because I'll just mess up your interview.
she was active in politics. So I got aid from the member of parliament,
Yes.
Mr. Michael Henry. He's still
Oh,
the member of parliament today, Mike Henry. Yes, I got, because there is a, I think they have a special grant that they assist
yes.
persons with for
Yes.
education. So I got aid from that for the 3 consecutive years that I was enrolled at Michael. In addition to that, I must tell you that Mr. Robinson, my
Yeah.
boss at Robinson's drugstore, was also into politics.
Yes.
He was the member of parliament for West Rural St. Andrew at the time.
Oh,
And he would have known about my interest in college.
yes.
And of course, help was offered to me from that area as well. So two different parties, and and I received assistance from both.
She's
Yes.
smart. She's smart. Georgia is one smart lady. She is definitely a genius. Some people are so stuck on being patriotic to one party that they would not even accept the help from the other party. But here she is. She knew what she wanted. And of course, naturally, she accepted the help from both parties. But I want to definitely thank those member of parliament. They
Yes,
might not be, Mr. Robinson might not be now, but Mr. Mike
mm,
Henry is still serving.
really,
And this is definitely what Jamaica needs, an investment in education. Look at Miss Claire
definitely.
today, a proud principal. I am proud of her as a woman. In fact, listening to her right now, she could become a member of parliament or even the next female prime minister of Jamaica.
Wow.
Talk to me. So
All right, I
you
think
just
about
might,
it.
you just might have a future in politics. Talk to me.
Possibly, possibly. Yeah, so my journey was was awesome. I would say, although there were rough patches,
Yes.
at the end, there is always victory. I always believe that at the end of the tunnel, there is
Yes.
light. And the saying goes, just before the break of dawn, there is light. So
Definitely.
I believe that these little proverbs and sayings would have helped me to make certain decisions that I made today. Some persons would have been very, very influential in my life.
Yeah.
They would have helped me along the way. I would have drawn motivation from different people. So it's not only about me,
Yes.
it's about the persons who I would have met along the way. Many different people, people from all walks of life, even children too. They would have inspired you to do what you must do as an individual and do it in a legal way to become successful.
Oh,
So even my journey at Mico, I was still working at Robinson's drugstore. I worked there on Saturdays and I think 2 other days in the week. I would still go to work but I would go in the afternoon after classes were finished. And then I would go back to campus because I boarded at the time. Even when I was on teaching practice, I would go down in the afternoon to work and then I'd come back, I'd get my lesson plans ready for the next day's class. So Robinson's drugstore has set a foundation for me in a way that I understand how important it is to give up your best at a job, to be disciplined, to
yeah.
be on time for your job no matter what. So I believe that that foundation for me was it was strongly built. I had a strongly rooted foundation, let me put it that way,
Yeah.
at Robinson's drugstore, my home life, and my grandmother being that strong woman. This lady, I've never seen my grandmother and she's not active.
Yeah.
She's working somewhere, she's going out, she's doing domestic work, she's selling things, and she's ensuring that we are fed and taken care of. And that school was always important. That was number one priority.
Okay, Georgia, tell me about a time when you almost gave up, but what made you continue? What motivated you to continue?
Wow. That question is a hard question because really I can't think of that time.
Yes.
That for me is indeed a hard question, and I am trying to look back, but maybe when I was applying for my jobs as principal, maybe that was the only time when I got a call saying that I am to come for an interview. I said, sure, I ain't going again. I'm not going to go. And
Yes.
my co-worker said to me, Miss Claire, go to the interview. Just remember that you are in an interview mode.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I didn't know where the school was. I didn't know how to get there. So I believe that I was going to change my mind.
Yes.
And that co-worker encouraged me to go. And I went.
And you got the job? Tell me.
Oh yes.
So which school is that, Miss Claire? Which school are you principal for? My geniuses would love to know.
That is in Upper St. Catherine,
Yes.
and it's 10 miles north of Old Harbor. And
Okay.
although I have been living in Old Harbor for 9 years, I did not know that Bella's Gate was so close. It
Yes.
would bother. I would have probably heard of the name because of Trevor Road, because just about all Jamaicans would have been familiar with the name Trevor Road and know that he's from Bella's Gate. But I really did not know how to get there.
Yes.
And the young lady said to me, Miss Claire, go to the interview. And I went prior to the interview to do my investigation, because in order for you to do your presentation, you must have information about the school and how you plan to really move the school from where it is to another level.
Yes.
So I went and I met with some of the teachers. I interacted. That day felt as if I'd known these persons forever, and I was only meeting. I spoke with two teachers, and I was meeting them for the first time, and
Yes.
it seemed as if we were longtime buddies, or we were from somewhere, but I was only seeing them for the first time. So I believe that their approach to me as a stranger, and maybe my reactions to them too, that would have caused that kind of gelling to happen. That instance, when I was thinking about not going to the interview, would have been the only time I thought about giving up, and I did not. I normally don't give up.
Yes.
If there's something I want to do, I am going to do it,
Oh,
because I honestly believe that if there's an issue, there is also a solution. I may not know the solution right away, but I know that there is a solution.
all right. Do you feel fulfilled and what do you enjoy doing?
Well, I am fulfilled at the moment,
Yes.
but I know there is still more that I have to give and more that I can give. As it is now, I'm happy with my job. I am happy for the set of dedicated teachers that I have around me. They are supportive, and in my view, they have gone beyond the call of duty to ensure that our children at Bellas Gate Primary School are engaged and are meaningfully engaged. So I believe that working with them
Yes.
has allowed me to attain a self of that sense of purpose. I want to go there. I want to be among them. I've never felt, to a large extent, where I just don't want to see these teachers. There
Yeah.
is always something, some memory that will tell me that you need to be here. You need to be with your teachers. Your teachers are dedicated. Your teachers are good people. So that is just an awesome, fulfilling feeling.
I like that environment that you're creating at Bella's Gate Primary. I just might return home so you can employ me there. Oh,
Oh, certainly.
thank you, Miss Claire. Miss Claire, I like the fact that you spoke about your teachers. Now, if I should question them about your educational belief, what would they tell me?
Right. My teachers will tell you that Miss Claire is all about the betterment and the development of the children in the institution. She wants to see the children reading. She wants to see children in pursuit of excellence. We
Yeah.
want to see that, because at Bella's Gate, our motto is only the best is good enough. And they know that I want our children to shine. We want to compete among the best in our QEC and in Jamaica. So we will start different initiatives and hoping that the children will want to be a part of this so that they too can grow. My teachers will tell you that I'm a caring principal, because I look out for the well-being of my staff as well. We have we have a very professional relationship, but between that, or among that, there is also camaraderie. We we go out together sometimes. We look at birthdays, and we go to different places so that we can really let our hair down and have a good time, because I believe that, as the saying would go, all work and no play. makes Jill and Jack dull.
Yes.
We do not. We do not take that much. We don't agree to that at all. So we go against that. And we ensure that after work or sometime in the year, we put aside some time so that we can gel as a staff, we can have fun as a staff. So
Yes.
they will tell you this about Miss Claire.
Okay. Beautiful. I haven't met you, Miss Claire, in person, but I like the positive attitude that I am getting. So I just want you to continue to be in a great success and a great person for Jamaica, someone that children and adults can emulate. What comforts you when you're low in spirit?
Well, I will talk, I will listen to gospel music, I will listen to slow music, but mainly I believe that I would talk to my aunt, who
Yeah.
is younger than I am, of course. She's a few years younger, so she is normally the person I would talk to. And also another close friend. These are the people I would really talk to when I'm low in spirits. We would talk. Sometimes I would pray. I do pray, maybe not as often as I should,
Yes.
but I do pray. And I believe in the power of God. I believe that God exists. And I believe that there is healing in prayer.
Definitely
So
so.
that's where I take comfort sometimes.
Is there anyone that you emulate?
Offhand, let me see. Maybe several people. I can't at the moment. I have not put anybody there to say that, I look up to you as
Yeah.
that person to motivate me. But I would have appreciation for Portia Simpson Miller
Yes.
as a former female prime minister. I would have had appreciation for teachers who I would have had contact with. But
Okay.
in terms of saying that I have this one person I emulate and I try to be like, no, I don't have that.
Okay. Considering that you've gotten help from two politicians, have you ever thought about venturing into politics so that you can give back? Well, I know you're giving back on a large scale already by just serving and being principal, but in the political arena, have you ever thought about venturing there?
I have never really thought about venturing there, but persons would have made, comments regarding that, especially since I've been at Bella's Gate, because I would remember there was a part of the road which was very in a very deplorable condition. And I saw some young men on the streets and I said, what if I bring down, I take down 2 bags of cement? Can that fix that side of the road? And they were just, I said, okay, well, get the taxi men involved and have them help you to fix this side. So
Yeah.
I have heard little things regarding that since then, but this is not something that I would have given serious thought to.
Okay.
In terms of giving back, for my basic school, Buckner Basic School, about 2 or 3 years ago, I would have given back personally to the top students at the school for that year. So that's outside of being involved in education and giving back to the nation as an educator. That is what I would have done personally. I expressed to the principal that I was interested in doing this on a yearly basis, but it has not been happening on a yearly basis though.
Okay.
But definitely after COVID, I hope this is something that I can take up again, and I will let it become a part of my routine, my yearly routine, so that this award then can be given to a child.
I like your honesty and your loyalty. Have you ever thought about migrating?
I would have thought about migrating on more than one occasion. I I had applied to EPI. I did my interview. I was successful. But when I got to the point to submit the documents, I changed my mind.
Okay.
I went ahead again. I did an application to Turks and Caicos Islands. This to me is somewhat miraculous because I was invited to an interview via Skype. And on the day I was leaving work to go set up for the interview, I got a call. Two calls I got. One from the chairman of Bellows Gate Primary telling me or informing me that I was given the job as principal at the school. Yes, and this I was on my way to actually get ready for my interview.
Yes.
And a personnel from Turks and Caicos called me about 2 minutes before the chairman to inform me that they were having technical difficulties. So they would have to reschedule my interview for the next day.
Yes.
So I saw that as some form of sign from God saying
Yes.
that you need to stay in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right? So I opted to stay. And I called them and told them that I would have taken up the position as principal, so I would not be coming in for the interview. So that to me, as I said, is a sign. I saw it as a sign that I need to be at home.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did because if when I thought about becoming a principal and then the opportunity presented itself, I also got to do the training with NSTEL, the effective principals training program,
Yeah.
which I believe that as a new principal, this would have helped me in many ways to understand certain dynamics in the job, to understand some of the areas that I need to focus on so that my school can can be rated among the best then. Certain policies and procedures that must be in place for you to consider your institution an effective institution. I believe that NSEL would have given me this knowledge. And because it was a practical course, whatever was done could be applied. So after applying these ideas, you could actually look at it and you see results.
Yeah.
These results to me, they were fulfilling. To know that you could actually you do this and here is the result. So maybe not being in a position, you may think that this task is not possible. It is insurmountable.
Yes.
But having done the course with Incel, that would have placed me at a position where I know that I can really be an effective leader. And for that, I say many thanks to Incel.
Definitely so. All right, Georgia, let's say a child came to you and said to you, Miss Claire, as my principal, I want to inform you that I will not be coming back to school because I do not like my teacher. What would be your advice to that child?
Well, I think I would want to know why the child would have that kind of thinking first. And I'm sure the child will have a reason. So I would maybe meet with the teacher and the child, or for the child really to talk to the teacher about what he or she is experiencing. Because sometimes children say things, maybe the teacher is unaware of
Yes,
what is happening. So I believe that if the teacher is aware of how the child feels, then that will be the turning point for the child. And the child will understand that if my teacher behaves a particular way, it's not a direct attack on you.
yes,
It is probably, this is a strategy to get you to learn something then. So I believe that if the teacher understands how the child feels about a particular approach used, then adjustments can be made. And I am sure that that child will change his or her mind.
okay. All right, beautiful. What is next for you, Georgia?
Next, wow. Well, I've been at Bella's Gate for 2.5 years. I intend to serve until that push comes. for me to try something else.
Okay.
But as it is right now, I have work to do at Bella's Gate. My teachers and I, we have identified areas that we need to improve, and we want to get those out of the way before I think about even leaving Bella's Gate
Okay.
Primary. Okay. When I left Mico in 2003, I was employed at Greenwich College School. My my history of jobs, I would say, is very limited. I've only worked three places in my entire life.
Yeah.
I've worked at Robinson's Drugstore. I've worked at Greenwich College School, where I would have met, I've worked there for 15 years, and I would have met a mixture of different personalities. Some that, of course, would have pushed you to grow, some that may have shown you daunting attitudes, but I believe that the myriad of of personalities or attitudes, I believe that that would have helped me to understand human beings in a way that you don't let certain things bother you. You
Yeah.
understand how to live with each other. You understand how to really accept persons for who they are. So I believe that at Greenwich, I said to myself, well, if I worked here, I can work elsewhere. Because having to deal with students, their parents, your colleagues, it's it was really, it could be challenging at times,
Yes.
but you understood how to overcome, and if you're at fault, you accept that you're at fault. And I would say I don't keep malice. I don't, if I'm upset about something, I will tell you, and I will basically tell you how I feel about what was done, what was said, but that is it. I am finished with it. I
Yes.
am not going to be carrying you up in my mind for forever and forever. Amen. No, I am not that type of person. And being around all of these different persons who have come across in my life on so many different occasions, that would have helped me to understand that in this world, you will find different personalities, but you have to understand that you must deal with everybody and approach everybody from a point of love. And I believe that if we do that, we can get along quite fine, although we have differences.
Yeah.
Well, this is a program that really showcases persons' struggles, their road to success, how it is that they would have overcome some of these struggles. This program, to me, is allowing persons to be motivated. They can take from what was said from the different persons that you are interviewing, they can take something from the person and know that there are persons out there who are going through similar situations like me, and using education as a tool to fight what seems impossible, you
Yes.
can do that. And also, I want to add to young ladies who already have children or already have a child. This message is to motivate you that although you would have stumbled along the way, you can always get up, and you can go. You can do all the things that you need to do to be successful. It is achievable. Once you are focused, once you are steadfast, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, it is achievable. So that would be my message to persons, to young ladies who are already mothers. And for the young ladies who are in school now, I want you to be focused and do what you were sent to school to do. And that is to be educated so that you can move from one step to another with ease, because parents are already struggling as it is to send the children to school. So you don't want to put that extra pressure on them, right? So for the young ladies who are in school, do not take this message to say, because Miss Claire got pregnant at an early age, it is okay if I get pregnant too, because I can just pick up the pieces and move on. That's not the message we want you to take from this. All right?
I like that you cleared that up, because I remember I shared my story as a young teacher at Davis Primary School, and one of my students went home, and she had some problems in the home with her mother, and she told her mother, if Miss Morgan got pregnant and she's a teacher today, so what if I get pregnant? So I am happy that you cleared that up,
Wow.
because I can
Yes,
remember specifically and distinctly the child and the parent that said so. So I am so happy that you did
yes,
that, Miss Claire. And Miss Claire, I just want you to know that I applaud you for the work that you're doing, and Jamaica salutes you. Please
yes.
continue to be dedicated, focused, have our young ones' interests at heart, and to continue to build Jamaica land we love. Are there any final
Certainly.
thoughts?
Yes, education is definitely a vehicle that we can use to stabilize ourselves, to to make marks. You can leave indelible marks on people. And as educators, we can be positive, we can mold, we can shape, but we must also remember that the things that we say can also break a child.
Yes.
So we ought to be mindful of how we come across when we're trying to correct and discipline the students who are in our care. Because I know that as educators, we want the very best for the students we teach. Hence, we want the best for Jamaica in return.
So powerful. My geniuses, I know you're inspired, you're motivated, and you were entertained. Now, I hope that these words will fall on solid grounds and you will definitely grow from them. Have you been looking in that mirror? Have you been telling yourself great things? You're awesome. You're brilliant. You're talented. You're beautiful. You can be a success like Miss Claire. Have you been kind to yourself? I hope so. But in so doing, be kind to others. And if you have nothing good to say about people, please say absolutely nothing at all. Have yourselves a great day. Bye.